It's our understanding Javi Gracia is on his way back to Vicarage Road as Watford plan on saying adios to Paulo Pezzolano. The Uruguayan has seen his side win just 3 of his 9 matches in charge, sitting 11th in the Championship. But legendary club captain Troy Deeney told us he rates Gracia highly.
Great guy, great coach. Also very good with man management, understands people really well. Be interesting to see who he gets to bring in with him as coaching staff. If they got the same coaching staff, all complemented each other really, really well.
Meanwhile, Jermaine Defoe's told talkSPORT he'd be champing at the bit to join Steven Gerrard at Rangers. Gerrard's one of the names associated with the job at Ibrox, though there's currently no clear front-runner. Defoe's told us for whoever does come in, it won't be a straightforward job.
It's almost like earning the right to play. Before anything else, you have to run, you have to work hard, you have to graft. All the things that people nowadays, for some reason, don't speak about. You know, I keep saying it's a different beast up there. You know, I was always told, if you come second, you might as well come last.
Our latest understanding is that Sean Dyche is not interested. Speaking of managers, Wayne Rooney's admitted to talkSPORT he's in no rush to get back into the dugout.
I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm still learning in the punty world as well and trying to get better at that. And yeah, I'm happy and get to see my kids play more and not the pressure of managing. Listen, and if the right one comes up, which after what's happened in previous jobs, I very much doubt it. I'm not stupid, I can be honest on that. I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
Now, will Harry Maguire be part of the Manchester United revolution for years to come? Here's talkSPORT's Alex Crook.
His contract is up at the end of the season. It's my understanding that he's quite keen to extend his stay at United. He'll be 33 by the time that contract comes to an end. I think if he is to stay, he's going to have to be willing to take a pay cut.
And Arsenal are considering stadium renovations at the Emirates that could see them play home games at Wembley. According to The Telegraph, the Gunners are exploring using £500 million of funding to rework the interior of their Holloway Road home. That could see the capacity hit 70,000. The Emirates was opened 19 years ago at a cost of £390 million.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. I'm Jamie O'Hara, over there, Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen club football?
That is so route one.
Well, I've not seen it for a while.
English football royalty has been speaking today. Lampard on Drive. Explosive interview from Steven Gerrard with Rio Ferdinand. Gerrard had a lot to say about the golden generation, admitted that Paul Scholes would be better than himself and Lampard in today's game. So we're asking, what player from that generation would you take now in that England team? 03 717 22 3344. We're also joined in the studio by football finance expert Kieran Maguire to go over the possibility of Premier League games being played abroad. Loads to go at. Help us out. 03 717 22 3344.
Whoa!
Hello, mate.
Bit poor for me, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's poor form, mate.
I know.
It's a bit
I
of
know. Well,
bit of a
this is what
shambolic
happens
start
during
from
the
you.
international break, mate.
I mean, we've been here for 2 hours.
You struggle with material, mate. I can't make material up.
Yeah.
Can I?
But
I can't make
you
it
could have gone at a few. There was a few things to go at.
Yeah, well, was there? What could I have gone at?
Not sure. You've been playing cricket today.
Yeah. You got a couple of birdies.
What do you mean? That's golf. Idiot.
Got a couple of eagles.
You've got a cricket top on.
It's not cricket. It's crochet. It's a little bit of a...
You got a test cricket top.
Need one of these little badge.
It's a little England badge, mate. We'll send you out.
Yeah,
Number 3 in the order.
Get the old bat
Mr.
under
Cundy.
there. You're stomping out. You're any good at cricket?
Out for a duck.
You're any good at cricket?
I was all right at cricket. Yeah.
What are you?
I was an all-rounder.
I know that. I can see that from here.
I had trials for Kent.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what?
What do you
Fire
mean, Kent
brigade.
what?
Go on.
I was all right. I was a good batsman. I was a good batsman. Yeah, I did.
No, go on. What number were you?
Reverse sweep.
You didn't have reverse sweep.
I had the old reverse sweep.
You didn't have up your sleeve, mate. Did you?
I'm telling you. Waiting.
Did you?
Waiting.
I was opening bowler.
No, you weren't.
I promise you I was opening bowler,
Well, you're
right?
quite tall, so you can.
I was opening bowler. I was quick. I was opening bowler. Could spit down, mate. Yeah. But I'll tell you a story, right? So when I got in the cricket team, right, and obviously there was no football because it was the summer. My mum and dad, I hope my mum's not listening to this, I'm dead for them. They managed to find or source me a pair of cricket whites, right?
Yeah.
They were the biggest pair of flares you've ever seen. And I didn't realise. I tried them on. When I got to school, I tried them at home. When I got to school, as you're running, mate, these things are flapping around my ankles. I've never taken so much stick in my life.
Yeah.
Flares.
Flares?
Yeah. They were...
Is that the top that you wore? That looks like a bit of a school top. It's a bit tight.
I wouldn't have getting it. Well, I don't know, mate.
You sure that's not the top that you wore at school?
No, mate. No, I definitely got rid of the flares. They definitely got rid of the flares.
I liked a bit of cricket, though. Do you feel like cricket's gone a bit downhill? Do you know, like back in the day, Flintoff, Peterson, Trescothick, Grant, Thorpe.
Yeah, that was good. It was good, mate.
You know, like
Gatting. How far can we go back?
Sachin Tendulkar.
He didn't play for him, did he?
But you know, Brian Lara cricket, mate. EA Sports back in the day. What a game!
You're talking about now computer games.
No, I'm just talking about cricket was big.
Cricket's still big, mate. We've got the Ashes coming up, Jay.
I know
the Ashes.
But I feel like I used to love cricket, and I don't know. It just.
See, I don't... Test cricket, only the big dogs can I watch now. I can only watch the Ashes.
Yeah.
Right? Only when they go on tour. I do catch some of the tours when I get in sometimes late at night and I put a bit of Sky Sports on. They got the old tours on. But I remember watching the Ashes. Remember Gladstone Small?
No.
Remember Gladstone Small?
Who's he play for? England. No.
Bowl and Devon Malcolm. Is it Devon Malcolm? Bowl and Devy. Bowl. You hear that? Bowl. You know, from the camera. Bowl and Devy.
That was I used to love that. The old Australians, the Shane Warne one, wasn't it? Bowling, Shane, bowling.
That's what you'd hear from the hidden mic, but you could catch it.
Yeah.
Catch it. You know, the best one I've ever heard. Can I say this? Yeah, it went out on Sky, so I can say it.
Go on.
Right, I can't remember who was doing the commentary. It was someone from the Windies, right? They played years ago. Can't remember who it was. And then
great story.
No, hold on, it's good.
It's not. I don't know if it is.
It's anyway. Here's what happens, right?
Go on.
So anyway, the outfield, right, was a bit bare. It was out in Barbados, right? Or sat out in wherever it was, right?
Yeah. West Indies,
right? In the Windies, right? So it was out there, right? Anyway, as the ball's gone out, towards the boundary,
yeah.
And he said, "There's not a lot of grass out there." And as it hit, and someone held their breath for ages. They went, "There's plenty of grass in the West Indies." That went out on Sky.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That went out on Sky. It's gone out. It's gone out on talkSPORT.
Yeah, it's fine.
But that went out. And it's true, there is plenty.
Yeah. I miss the old cricket. I mean, you just look like a cricket player. I've got to look at you for 3 hours now.
Honestly, in bat, I was terrible in bat, mate. I just swung at everything.
Yeah.
It's like when I played football, just swing, bang. If I connected, bang, out it went.
Yeah.
If I didn't connect, bowled.
I like the old bowling, the old straight.
Straight. You never played a straight bat in your life.
Whooping.
What are you talking about? Honestly, there's some rubbish coming at you tonight.
Anyway,
let's move on with the show.
Let's move on. Let's crack on with the show. Loads to go at. Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard. He's been speaking on Rio Ferdinand Presents podcast. He spoke about England's golden generation. Former United midfielder Paul Scholes. Gerrard admitted that he'd struggle in today's game, but said that if Scholes was still playing today, he'd be the best player in the league.
Could I be the Steven Gerrard that played in our generation? Could that be now? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd have to adapt. I'd have to adapt, and I think it'd take a lot away from my style.
Talking about your style,
I think Scholes now
would be a joke.
Hands down, would be the best midfielder in the Premier League. Fact.
Do you think that? Yeah,
I do. Yeah, because Scholes for me was very much an in possession controller of a midfield, controller of a game.
Yeah.
Can switch the play. You get close to him, he could pop it round you. He can play the outside of his foot. He can switch the play, score important goals, make the last pass. Scholes' thing for me was, can you get him doing the other side of the game?
running the other
Can you
way.
take him the other way? Can you be physical with him? He'll get booked against you. These type of things you could maybe try and get the better of him the other way. But I'm not sure in the stage game you could leave one on Scholesy, for example. So he would have everyone terrorised in the Premier League. I'm telling you right now, he would have everyone terrorised in the Premier League now. He'd be the best midfielder in the Premier League now, hands down.
I mean, it's high praise from someone who was one of the ultimate football players of the Premier League era. And look, I played against both of them. Paul Scholes was a joke. He was outrageously good. And he's right. He makes a really good point about the fact that he was a bad tackler, Scholes. He'd get sent off. You know, and as he said, you know, leave one on him. You can't get away with that no more.
No, and also the way the game's gone, it's about possession.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The game now, we see teams build from the back, and you can imagine Scholesy dropping deep and picking the ball up and
just zinging
pinging balls wherever he wants to. Yeah. So the game has changed. It's interesting that Stevie Gerrard said that he'd have to adapt. Of course he'd adapt. Good players adapt. He would have adapted his game, but there's still a place for a player like Steven Gerrard. Maybe not that marauding, you know, what he could do there.
Steven Gerrard would still be the best player in the league.
Well, he just said...
Well, I mean, you know, look, Scholes would be
but he's saying that he'd have to adapt. I don't know, he put Steven Gerrard in this England team now.
Yeah.
Him alongside Rice, and as a three, him and Bellingham, playing as like two number 8s, if you like. Gerrard and Bellingham and Scholes. I mean,
if you was going to pick one player, say we're going into the World Cup next year, right? And we got one player from the Golden Generation, and the Golden Generation we talk about. I mean, you know, you lock down David Seaman, Ashley Cole, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, David Beckham, Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Rooney,
and then
and then you Owen, Shearer, Heskey, Joe Cole.
First thing I would do is what's an area that I worry about in our World Cup, and the area I worry about is centre half. That's the area I immediately think, are we as strong as we used to be?
Yeah, but if you're going to take one, you'd want the best one, wouldn't you?
I'm going John Terry.
Would you?
I'm going John Terry.
John Terry at the back?
Yeah.
Is John Terry going to win you the World Cup?
Why not?
Well, I mean, listen, John Terry's an unbelievable football player, but I'm talking about a player who's going to make a difference. John Terry's...
Who's our John Terry?
No, we ain't got one.
Well, that's it then. He ticks boxes. He's our captain, goes in at centre half. That's an area. For me, that nails things at the back. Talking to midfield, I'm going straight John Terry.
Not Rio Ferdinand?
No, straight for John Terry. For me personally, that's what
Even in the modern day, not Rio Ferdinand?
100% John Terry. John Terry, brilliant footballer.
You know, he was different.
He's a brilliant footballer. Yeah, I'm going straight John Terry. I'm Chelsea.
I mean, I knew you was going to say that. I mean, it was a stupid question, really.
If you don't
ask stupid questions, you get stupid answers.
Well, don't like the answer, don't ask the question.
Yeah, I know, but I was thought you've just gone straight.
What do you want me to say then?
Chelsea captain. Like,
but he's the most decorated one club man captain ever in the Premier League.
Here we go.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
He won the most Premier Leagues as a single captain in the Premier League. I think that's correct. But you've asked the question. That's where I'm going. I'm worried about centre half. Who is? Imagine John Terry.
I'm worried about midfield. Midfield for me.
Right. Okay. So you got Bellingham and Rice. Who are you worried about?
But Bellingham ain't even in the squad. I'm worried about Bellingham.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Bellingham. I'm not sure if Bellingham can play as the 8, or if Tuchel wants him to play as the 8. You need someone that. You need a sitter. You need a dictator.
Okay. Who's that sitter?
If I was going to take one player, I mean. Obviously, Paul Scholes is the easy option.
Can't think of a Spurs player, can you?
Michael Carrick.
Michael Carrick when? When he's at United?
When he was at Spurs.
West Ham?
No, Spurs, yeah. Michael Carrick, yeah. Good player, mate. No. I think I'd take Paul Scholes. If I was going to take anyone...
I'm not going to fall out with you if you take Paul Scholes. We're not going to have a fight.
No, I know. But
I'm not going to say...
I don't want idiot. The easy option is to say Paul Scholes. But I genuinely think... As Steven Gerrard really said, who was the left winger? Scholes played on the left for England. That was outrageous.
He played left of a 3, so he played 4-3-3, I think, at that time.
No,
Crouch was in there as well, wasn't he?
Did Joe Cole play on the left?
Joe Cole played on the left.
Darius Vassell played out there as well. He done all right, didn't he?
Darius Vassell's a great shout, that, by the way.
He done well, didn't he, out there on the left? He wasn't bad.
He chipped in with a few goals, Darius Vassell.
Yeah.
If you've asked me now, mate, I'm going straight for centre half. That's what I'm doing.
You've gone route 1.
I haven't gone route one.
You are. You missed the Chelsea.
No,
and you've gone with a
I haven't
Chelsea
gone
captain.
route one. I've gone with, one of the best captains this, country's seen. So there you go.
All right. You can have your say on that. We're going to have a little chat about it. If you're going to take a player from that generation, who would it be? Do you agree with Steven Gerrard's comments as well? That England generation, that beat today's team.
Yeah, mate, yeah. I mean, that back four, right, you just mentioned there, Rio, JT, Neville and Cole. Oh, my gosh, that's... You won't find a better back four than that in a generation of back fours. You won't find a better back four than that. There ain't many out there.
Did he get to a final?
No, never got to final. Never even got to a semi, did it?
It got to the Euros, didn't it? Semi-final.
I don't know, did it?
96? Was that the golden generation?
That was before.
It was Gaza.
That was Gaza. That was Neville was in that, by the way. Neville was. Tony Adams.
Stuart Pearce.
There you go.
Shearer.
Shit, yeah.
Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah. We're just going over all ground, mate. We're just reminiscing. We're just naming ex-football.
I know, it's greite. I love it.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the old days.
Yeah, it was Redknapp in there as well. But
Jamie Redknapp.
Darren Anderton. Yeah, I'll give you a Spurs player.
All right, get your calls in. Have your say on it. 03717 22 3344. Why are we playing this? Like, who's decided that this was acceptable? You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. You're going to be joined in the studio. Football finance expert Kieran Maguire. You got any questions to ask him? You can give us a call 03 717 223344. We're taking calls on players from England's golden generation you'd like to see in today's team or in your club team. Three Lions legend, Coventry City gaffer Frank Lampard. He joined Drive earlier today, responded to Steven Gerrard's claims that Paul Scholes would be the best midfielder in the Premier League if he was still playing today.
To reinvent himself and play deeper, and have all the things there that Stevie said there in terms of that. That's why a lot of teammates will talk about him like that, because when you train with him day in, day out, you see the level of quality, like the appreciation of the pass. He could hit every pass, his awareness, goals in him, everything. It's a difficult conversation. I get asked that a million times, obviously, normally in a cab in London or something like that, and they ask me, what do you think? And I'm worried that they're going to be recording it and throw it on. But I never really commit to it, to either of Stevie or Scholesy. I think both in their own ways are absolutely incredible. And Stevie as well. When Stevie was on it, what he could do to you in terms of his pace and power as a midfield player and what he did for that club. So, full respect, I agree with Stevie. Scholesy play in any era and be one of, if not the best midfielders.
Sat on the fence there, Frank, didn't he?
Well, he was up personal against the pair of them in some of the biggest battles in the country and in Europe.
Yeah.
And he will know. And
do you think he gets discredited a little bit, Frank, because how good of a footballer he was?
Frank, yeah, because Frank's what he gave the team, what he gave Chelsea, his goals, what he done as playing as an 8, playing in a 4-3-3 predominantly, and his link-up play with Didier Drogba. Honestly, his goal-scoring record from midfield is unbelievable. And if you showed someone that in 10 years' time, you'll say, look at that, and you think, Frank, where did Frank play? And you show where he played.
Yeah.
But Frank was a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Frank could do, you played against him.
Yeah,
right?
I played against him, yeah.
Right, so Frank could do both sides of the game.
Yeah, he could, yeah.
With the ball and without the ball. Right, he was absolutely magnificent, honestly. He was just super. He was unbelievable. And he had come up with big goals in big games, big assists.
Yeah.
2007 FA Cup final, the little chip for Didier against Man United. And he come up with big moments in big games. But then Scholes caught the eye in a different way. In fact, so did Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard was a little bit more dynamic in the middle of the park.
He was dynamic, yeah.
You know, he was all action. He was banging there. He was, firing tackles.
Yeah.
Quite Frank's game. Frank could dig, but Scholes, get on the ball, head up. If he could see a pass, he'd probably find it.
Yeah,
wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he'd find it.
I played against him once, right? And he was always my idol, really, as the player I wanted to play against. And I remember playing against him a couple of times, but the one that stood out for me was Man United Wolves. Played against him. He played in midfield. I think they beat us 5-0. And Paul Scholes, 100 passes, 100 completed. Yeah. Didn't give the ball away for 90 minutes. It was outrageous.
And I bet they weren't all
and they weren't one. No,
were they?
He was like everywhere. The ball was going all over the park. Didn't misplace one pass in 90 minutes. And I was like, this guy's ridiculous.
We don't have that player, do we?
I don't think we have that.
In Bellingham, we have a little bit of a Lampard type player, don't we? A little bit like trying to keep the 8 and trying to join.
Yeah.
We don't have the passing range of a ridiculous.
I don't think we have a Paul Scholes.
No, we don't.
We don't have a Paul Scholes.
We've got Steven Gerrard. It's like a hybrid between Steve and Frank. It's like I think
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice is not a Frank Lampard or a Steven Gerrard.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's a brilliant footballer, but he's not. He ain't one of them, is he? And that's no disrespect to Dec.
No, I think Declan Rice is his own player.
He is his own player. And the thing is, what Declan and we saw at the weekend, he can play as a 6.
Yeah.
But actually, when he goes and joins, he can be an 8 and go and join. He needs to score more goals, I think.
Yeah.
But he's added that to his game since he went to Arsenal. At West Ham, he was really a sitter, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a sitter.
He didn't see much under David Moyes, and he kind of sat a little bit, sat deep and.
Yeah, and he was brilliant at it.
Yeah.
But you need someone alongside him. You need Paul Scholes alongside Declan Rice, and then I think we win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Let's go to Tristan. He's a football fan. All right, Trist?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right, Trist. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Look, we're having this conversation about, obviously, the golden generation. Who would you take? And you've heard, obviously, the Gerrard interview today.
Yeah. As much as I agree with JT. I actually would go for Rio Ferdinand.
Go on.
I think he's brilliant on the ball. Well, he was brilliant on the ball. He's calm, quick, strong, read the game. I think he was the first of this new breed of centre-back. And I don't even think the likes of John Stones are quite as good as what Rio was in his prime. And the reason I haven't gone for a midfielder is because I think as great as it would be to have Scholes, Lampard or Gerrard back in that midfield, I don't think that the England midfield struggles as much on a world stage as their defence does. I don't think the likes of Mark Gahey get anywhere near Rio Ferdinand or someone whilst they were in their prime.
I mean, we're in the same camp. You've gone for Rio, I've gone for JT. I kind of
Arsenal John Stones.
Rio.
Say again.
Is that a bit harsh on John Stones? I mean, for me, look, he's had his injuries. I think he only played 11 games last season through injury. But for me, John Stones was the Rio Ferdinand of this generation, no?
I think John Stones lacks the leadership skills that Rio would bring to a team. I think he's great, John Stones, but I don't think he's the significant leader in a team like that.
Yeah. All right, Tris, thanks for calling.
I'm not going to argue with that.
No,
I'm not going to argue.
I don't think you can argue with any of them, can you?
Oh, I don't know.
No?
No, I don't. Up front, I don't think Harry Kane needs replacing. Does he?
No.
Throwing it out there.
No, he doesn't.
Throwing it out
David Beckham? Does he get a sniff?
He's
England captain.
Yeah, but there was quite a lot of England captains in there. Well, I mean, Ashley Cole, right, the best left back this country's ever seen.
Yeah.
Does he deserve to go in there? I mean, I think we've got enough cover there.
Have we? Have we?
I think so.
I don't know, mate.
I think so.
Ashley Cole?
No, but Ashley Cole gets in. You're asking me, where do I think we need? I've got one player, right?
Yeah, you got one.
Right, well, I'm going centre off.
All right, let's go to Sammy. He's a Man United fan. Sammy.
Good evening, gentlemen. Pleasure speaking to you again.
Right, Sammy.
How are you guys again?
All right, Sammy. What made you pick up the phone?
Yeah, just one, I want to speak to you guys again. It's been a long time. I always like speaking to you guys.
Oh, that's very kind.
And yeah, I want to talk about Joe Cole. I think Joe Cole, I'd love to bring him back to the Premier League and to England team.
Where are you playing, Joe Cole? On the left?
Yeah, as you said last time, we needed someone on the left. He can play on the left, so he can play attacking midfield as well. But he has created a special moments as well against the goal against Sweden.
Another goal against Sweden
in the World Cup 2006. In the Premier League, I think when Chelsea won the league, the goal against Man United, where it would turn 3 or 4 players away. He's just a special player.
He was. I watched Joe up close and personal. I watched him come in at Chelsea, covered pretty much every single game he played at Chelsea. He could play on the left, play right, and play as a 10.
Lacked a bit of pace?
Lacked a little bit of pace. It was never the quickest, but that never deterred him from getting past players.
Do you think he'd struggle in today's game, though?
No, he's not dissimilar to Jack Grealish, actually. In fact, he's better than Jack Grealish. He's a better player than Jack Grealish, and we were asking for Jack Grealish to return, so Sammy's probably right.
Yeah.
Actually, on that left-hand side. Rashford's quicker.
I think Rashford, though.
Rashford's quicker.
Who would you rather have? Joe Cole, if you was going to pick a team now, Joe Cole, Rashford?
Well, it depends. If you're playing against a team that play a high line, Rashford, you play a team that's going to sit deep, Joe Cole. Because you need that. You need the ability to beat players or receive a ball in a tight area.
Yeah.
Joe could receive the ball in a phone box, mate, and he'd still... Honestly, well, you must play against him as well, right?
I played against Joe.
Right. He could receive that ball and he could flick it off, move, go, pass, flick on his way.
You could receive a ball in a phone box?
How big is his phone box? How big is it?
You'd edit, wouldn't you?
How big is it?
You'd edit straight through the phone box.
It'd probably not break my nose.
Oh, dear. All right, keep your calls coming in. You want to have your say on this? We've got Kieran Maguire. Talk a bit of football finance as well. There's been talk about games being played abroad. We'll get into that. 03 717 22 3344. You're listening to the Sports Bar talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. You're going to hear from Richard Ashcroft. He was in the studio just a few hours ago. Amazing. What a guest that was. We're taking your calls on which player from England's golden generation you'd like to see in today's team. 03 717 223344. Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard. He's been speaking on Rio Ferdinand's Presents podcast. Discussed why England golden generation didn't win anything.
I think we were all egotistical losers.
Yeah.
Because I watch the telly now and I see Carragher sitting next to Paul Scholes on this fan debate and they look like they've been best mates for 20 years. And I see Carragher's relationship with Gary Neville, they look like they've been mates for 20 years. I'm probably more close and friendly with you now than I ever was when I played with you for 15 years. So why didn't we connect when we were 20, 21, 22, 23? Was it ego? Was it rivalry? Was it... Why are we all mature enough now and at stages in our life where we're closer and more connected now? Why couldn't we connect as England teammates back then? And I think it was down to the culture within England that we were all never connected, all in our rooms too much. We wasn't friendly or connected. We wasn't a team.
No.
We never at any stage become a real good, strong team.
Yeah, it's obviously Steven Gerrard talking earlier. Did you make him right there? Do you think did they miss? What did they lack? The manager?
I wasn't there, but you said egotistical losers. They might have been egotistical. They definitely weren't losers, right? You're talking about
Never
lads.
got to a final.
No, but they weren't losers. You can't call them losers. These boys were going to Champions League finals. They were winning Premier League.
No, he's talking about for England, though.
Yeah, right. Okay, but he's... Yeah, but you could say that everyone's been a loser or in some way, shape or form since 66. I think the back end of his answer was probably closer to the truth. What you needed back then was probably a Southgate where he parked all of the rivalry. And there is always rivalry. Back then, though, you had the three biggest clubs that are going into winning titles, where they're for Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, less so because they won in 2004. Chelsea winning Champions League, Premier League. Man United winning Champions League, Premier League. Liverpool win FA Cups, Champions League, right?
Yeah.
So these boys were going into battle in the biggest competitions right up until the death, right? They were fighting for the biggest. But now that you look at the squad we've got, it's not littered with those type of players now. They are, but they're not.
They're all mates now, aren't they? Do you feel like the rivalry's dead in football?
I don't think it's as fierce as it was. I think that's to the detriment, actually, of the Premier League.
Yeah.
As far as England concerned, I think what Gareth Southgate done, he did turn Club England, right? And that's a little bit of a cliche, Club England. But actually, the truth is, he did make it Club England, where you just heard Stevie G there saying that we're in our rooms. So they would have stuck there with a clique, with the Liverpool lads, the Chelsea lads, Man United lads, and whoever else, just kind of flitted about. I've heard Dean Ashton say that he wasn't welcome. The squad, getting into the England squad was hard because it wasn't a welcome family. And it feels like now that it's very different now.
Yeah.
But you think about the players now that have won the biggest trophies in this country and, of course, across Europe, where the rivalry seems different, doesn't seem as fierce.
No.
Between Man United, Liverpool,
changing shirts and shaking hands and having a chat after games.
Yeah, and that, but they're still not delivered, is it? He's still not managed to go over the line. Even though I think Gareth has made us that Team England.
Yeah, but we didn't have that generation, that team of players. If you had Gareth Southgate's Club England with that golden generation of football players,
well, then
I think we would have won something.
Well, we'll never know, but I'm inclined to agree with you.
Let's go to Bob. He's a Spurs fan. All right, Bob.
All right, Blob.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, mate.
Quick shout out.
Cheers, Blob.
Back from Tunbridge Angels, and just a quick shout out to Alan Dunn, who's doing a great job at Tunbridge Angels.
Oh, Dunny, how's he doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's coming as manager, and he's won each game, and doing well down there. So,
he's he's a good lad, Dunny. Right, good boy. I played with him at Millwall. He's a good player and all.
Yeah, he did 400 games then, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's doing well down there.
Yeah, fair play.
Sorry, it's a quick one on that. my one. So, talking of rivalries, I think I know it's all ifs and buts. Had he stayed injury-free, I think Ledley King, best England centre-back. And I also think, the man that we won't name, I think Ledley King would if he hadn't have had injuries, we'd be saying now he would be the best England centre-back of all time. I thought he was quality. But on this, I know you might laugh at this, Jason, in particular, but had the man that used to play alongside him at Tottenham in the late 90s not left to the other team, you'd have had two England centre-backs, quality, playing together for one team, and I think they could have been better than all the other people you're naming. That's just my opinion.
Who's the other one you're talking about?
Oh, I can't name him, mate. I don't want to swear.
No, go on. I know. I need to know who you're talking about.
You can't swear on the talk.
No, I don't. Let's just say his name.
Come on. Stop being horrible.
What are you got to do?
Why are you being horrible? Don't put Bob in.
I tell you what I will say, Blob, right? Ledley King, what a player he was.
Yeah,
he was a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, he was.
He was outstanding.
He had no knees, though.
No, well, there you go, right? And his career, but he could play midfield, could play centre half. He was quick, strong.
Yeah.
Distribution was brilliant in the air. He was a hell of a player.
My captain.
And we will never ever know how good Ledley King will be. I don't know whether there must be some moments he must sit there sometimes and have a chat. They think,
but he had terrible injuries. He
did.
He had a really bad knee injury, and it was a terrible. And they took the cartilage out of his knee.
Yep.
And then it was bone on bone, and he was really. I played with. He used to come out on a Friday, do the warm up. He didn't train all week.
Right.
He'd come out, do the warm up, and then go back in, and he'd start on Saturday, be the best player,
And that's what I mean.
spend the rest of the week trying to get his knee.
That's
down.
what I mean. Imagine that knee. If it was just a fully fit knee, imagine what that player could have been. I agree with him on Ledley King, and Sol Campbell. Sol was, he was just a beast.
Yeah.
Of a centre half. But I mean, the thing with Ledley, we never really saw it, but we thought we can only imagine what it would have looked like had he stayed fit, right? And he was a hell of a player. Him.
Yeah, he was good.
He was. I mean, you played with him, right?
Yeah,
I watched him.
Well, I played with him, and
he was
only see him on a Friday.
But he was a monster. He was so good, so good.
Yeah, he's a legend.
It's a shame, injuries.
Yeah. Do you think people say that about you?
Well, no, but I can only imagine, right? Because
at that time, Jason Cundy.
my injuries killed my career, right? It's true. Injuries kill you. I had half a cartilage, so I know what it's like, right? So
half a cartilage, half a ball.
Half a cartilage. Well, take half a ball, mate.
Let's go to John, who's a Spurs fan.
Right, John boy.
Hey, boys.
Here he is.
A.K.A. Stokesy. How are you, boys?
I'm all right, Stokesy. Go on. What you got for us?
Boys, I almost sort of want to reverse the conversation a bit, as in, apart from maybe Rice, Jude Bellingham and Kane, I don't think anyone else of the current England team would have got nowhere near those teams of the past, the England teams of the past. And I also think the only reasons we didn't get further, as in the semis or stuff like that, all the other international teams at the time, boys, for the last years were way better, as in you had Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Ramos for Spain, you had Maldini, Costa Curta for Italy, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So
Ronaldinho, Rivaldo.
Yeah, I just think all the teams have just gone way down. You often hear Italy saying it's their worst team for years. I don't think they qualify. You hear the same with the Spanish, the Germans. So I just think that the past teams of all were way better.
If you was going to take one player, though, Stokesy, who would it be?
Any of them would improve.
No, you've got to take one, Stokesy.
Come on here, you give us all this spiel and you can't pick one player.
3 minutes, Stokesy, it's not
doing
it.
You got, do 101 every single player.
No, just the one.
No,
just one.
Just one.
Just one, Stokesy.
Well, from that generation or the one before?
Yeah, just one.
Teddy Sheringham.
Right, there
to
you go.
open it all up.
One Teddy. I don't know if we need Ted. You got Kane. After all that, the big
all them
build-up.
players, and then
All
you
the players,
then
he
you've
pulled
got
someone
Teddy
out
Sheringham.
they only mentioned.
Really? I would say Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
No, you can't argue with Ash. I mean, you can't argue with Teddy Sheringham either, really, to be fair.
No, you can't. You can't. Well, I think you probably can make a better case for Ash because we don't need Ashley Cole, left back, best left back this country ever produced, right?
Yeah.
Teddy Sheringham, kind of Kane does that job, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That link up.
I think Kane is Teddy Sheringham and Shearer.
Yeah, he is. I know. He's a hybrid of the two.
All right. Let's go to Tom. He's an Everton fan. Tom?
Right, Tom.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, Tom. Go on. What you got for us?
Yeah, basically, I thought, obviously we're talking about some amazing players for England, obviously like your Rooney's, your Gerrard, Lampard. But there's one player that always stands out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel like Leighton Baines. Because I already know what you're going to say.
Go on. What am I going to say?
Obviously, I know I know he's never won a trophy. I know he's never played in the Champions League, and I know that. But I tell you, honestly, hear me out here. I'm telling you now.
He's dead.
Do you know what? They weren't the first thing I was going to say, but carry on. I mean,
no, honestly, I think Prime Baines. I honestly think Prime Baines would link up well with some of the greats for England. I believe that.
Tom, if Leighton Baines was in the same room as Ashley Cole and he was sat there with you,
right?
What do you think Leighton Baines would say?
I think Leighton Baines would obviously have a lot of respect for Cole. Listen, I think Cole I've been lucky to watch both of them play. I think they're both amazing players, and probably I don't think we'll ever get a good left back like them two again, if I'm honest with you.
I know.
Listen, Leighton Baines is a great player.
He was.
If I was to pick in their prime, honestly, I'd pick Leighton Baines.
Over Ashley Cole?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom, I love Tom because he's never a fan. I love he's phoned up, right? No, I love this, right? No, Tom, seriously, you phoned
I'll
up.
hear you out.
No, Tom, I love it because you've.
I'll hear you out.
Is it what you say? He's going to hear me out?
Yeah, I'll hear you out. Okay. Basically, you're not going to change his mind.
No, but no, what I'm saying is I love Tom because he phoned up. He's an Everton fan, right? Toffee through and through. And he sat there, thought about it. Of all the players, he's gone Leighton Baines. And I love it. But the thing is, you're wrong, though, aren't you, Tom?
The likes of Cole, right? With Baines is, I'm going for back to like the days when Everton were playing. Obviously, we were getting top probably 8 and stuff like that. Baines was pulling the strings for us. Baines was pulling the strings. I don't think Cole would have pulled the strings for us like Baines did. But put it this way, Cole was assisting the likes of Henry and Drogba. Baines was assisting the likes of Victor Anachibi and Niki Cijelovic.
Right.
That's the difference. And Baines has got well more assists than Cole, well more assists than goals than Cole. And I'm not saying Cole's rubbish. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I could choose, I'd say I honestly believe he's got more free kicks. He's got his pace. Link-up plays great, passing.
Who's a better defender?
I think honestly, Baines.
He's his agent.
It's hard to say. You know what, though, it's hard
Honestly, come on, Tom.
Tom. You can't be sitting there with a straight face and saying
come on, Tom. He had a great left foot, Baines, and he was up there, and he had a wicked left foot and a brilliant cross.
Okay, but who had more clean sheets? I'm just saying.
Who had more clean sheets?
Yeah.
He's not playing in goal.
I'm not saying that, but as a defender, though. Okay.
Who had more clean sheets? I'm going to say Ashley Cole, actually.
Okay, well, it's Baines.
Is it Baines?
Yeah.
What over his career?
Baines had Sylvan Distan next to him, by the way.
No, hold on. You can't get away with it. You're telling me that Leighton Baines had more clean sheets than Ashley Cole?
Yeah.
Where's your fact?
Do you know this for a fact? Do you know this for a fact?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it from?
Well, obviously the facts are there. Right,
hold on, Tom, I'm not letting you off the hook here. No, Tom, listen, you've gone out on a limb, and I love you for it, right? But you've laid down but Leighton Baines has got throughout his career.
Yeah.
For who? For club and country, or
you're 100% with that fact.
Maybe not for country, because obviously Cole's been ahead of them. Of course, he has.
Right.
So you're dying on that hill, Tom.
So Everton have had more clean sheets.
Got that fact.
No, not Everton. Baines as a play comparison.
Yeah.
And I'd love. Do you know what? I'd love.
Well, Tom,
to find that stat.
Tom, here at talkSPORT, obviously we do have the facts.
No, we don't. Not that.
And I've got the facts.
You have the facts, but you don't have the facts.
Well, I've got the facts.
Okay.
Leighton Baines had 113 clean sheets.
Okay.
Yeah.
You making this?
Ashley Cole.
You making this up?
No, this is a fact. Got 147.
Was that on the Premier League apples this time?
What do you mean? It's the fact.
I'm gonna have to delete that Premier League account because obviously the things had me off there.
Tom, do you know what, Tom? I love.
It's like the whole Gerrard Lampard debate. Who do you think is better, Gerrard or Lampard?
Well, I'm having Lampard, obviously, right? Because I'm Chelsea, right? And Gerrard could not have done for Chelsea. Gerrard could not have done for Chelsea what Lampard did. There's no way he's scoring them goals. No, absolutely no way on this earth.
Isn't Gerrard in 100 goals?
No, there's no way he's scoring them goals. No way.
Gerrard scored 100 goals in the Premier League.
There's no you seen what Lampard's done, mate? He doubled that.
It's like the equivalent of that, though. It's like, I think, okay, we're going to say...
He ain't scoring goals, mate.
He's simply not. Personally, I'm saying to you that, okay, Lampard on his CV has got a better career than Gerrard.
Yep.
We'll agree with that. But as a player,
yep.
I'm saying Gerrard.
Gerrard, look, it's one of those debates that is.
Same thing with Baines and Cole. This is the thing. It's a great debate, lads. You know what I mean? It's a great debate.
But you can't throw Baines in. You can't throw Baines and Cole in like with Gerrard and Lampard. You can't.
I am throwing Baines.
You can't lump them in together.
Yeah.
I love your loyalty, though.
Tom, fair play to you, mate.
He deserves a mention.
No, it's fine. You mentioned.
You've given him an honorary mention, and I appreciate it. You know, Leighton Baines was.
Leighton Baines was unlucky that Cole was about.
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, Leighton Baines would start every game for England.
Start every game, right?
Yeah,
and he's just unlucky that Ashley Cole had to rock up and be the best left back ever for England.
Yeah, let's just not put him in them brackets, though, innit? Do you know what I mean?
I love Tom.
Yeah,
Tom's great.
Tom's a great goal.
He's coming out with full stats. That's great.
Full stats.
Full
Amazing.
stats to back up his argument.
All right, keep your calls coming in. We'll continue taking them. We've got football finance expert Kieran Maguire coming on to discuss whether we could see Premier League teams playing overseas soon. That's coming up next. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Jason Cundy. Keep your calls coming in. We're also going to hear from Richard Ashcroft. He was in the studio a few hours ago. But speaking of rock stars, we're joining the studio. Football finance expert Kieran Maguire joins us. All right, Kier?
All good. Thank you very much, gents.
I really appreciate you coming in. I'm going to get straight into it because we've overrun with the old Leighton Baines chat. We've got half hour to have a really good chat. The big talking points at the moment is about European football body confirmed on Monday. Barcelona's La Liga clash with Villarreal going to take place in Miami in late December. AC Milan Serie A meeting with Como is going to be held in Perth, Australia in early February. What do you make of that? And do you think that's something that the Premier League are going to start to adopt?
Well, the reason why it's being done by both La Liga and Serie A is they're jealous of the Premier League. The Premier League's watched by 190 different countries around the world, and the money that the Premier League gets from that exceeds what they're seeing in Italy by 2 times, by Spain 2 times, by France 5 times. So what they're trying to do is to find new markets to try to generate extra interest. I think they're too late. I think the Premier League is now the global sport as far as football is concerned. So could the Premier League repeat that? It could do, but if you've got 75,000 people turning up every week at Old Trafford, you've got 60 odd at Arsenal, you've got 60 odd at Anfield, why take it abroad? Because you're losing all of that home revenue. Now, what they might say, if it's Brentford at home to Liverpool, and you can go and transport that to Saudi or Miami or these countries, and it's a 50 or 60,000 capacity stadium, you crunch the numbers and it starts to look a little bit more attractive. But there's no desire from the Premier League because the others are trying to play catch up.
But it come from the Premier League. This initial idea, the 39th game, actually was who was it? It was in charge of the
Scudamore,
Richard Scudamore, right? So this come back. Well, this has got to be 25 years ago when this was first announced. So they've looked at that and trying to move it forward. Is this the thin edge of the wedge, though? It does feel to me they're saying it's not precedent. Well, the precedent, as far as I'm concerned, is now set. They're allowing it. It's not like this is ever going to be the last. It's the first. What I fear is going to be many, many more. And I just wonder the Premier League will be watching very closely because competition is competition, right? And all of a sudden you get one game, La Liga, Serie A, and then you get 4 games a season. All of a sudden it's one game each a season. I just wonder how the Premier League will be looking at that particular scenario.
They'll be looking at it. They'll be crunching the numbers to see just how much it's moving the dial. They know that there'll be opposition from fans. We saw what happened when you upset English fans with Super League. It was the fans that brought that down. It was the fans that caused that to collapse. I can't. I work in the city of Liverpool. I can't see Liverpool fans accepting it. The hostility towards the owners. Whereas if you are Como, if you are Villarreal, they were pretty relaxed about Super League. So I think they'll struggle to get it across the line. I won't say it won't happen, but they'll actually make more money by doing a pre-season or a post-season couple of extra friendlies. We saw United versus Spurs 2 days after the end of the season. They both made £3 or £4 million from that. Why not just do that rather than take a league match?
Do it in a different way.
Yeah.
All right, we've got loads to go at with you. With Spurs takeover plans, Arsenal stadium expansion, PSR rules. If you've got any questions for Kieran, Manchester City's charges, Chelsea's charges.
Leave Chelsea alone, you.
Yeah, we'll get into that. If you've got any questions you want to know, Kieran's here. 03 717 22 3344.
It's our understanding Javi Gracia is on his way back to Vicarage Road as Watford plan on saying adios to Paulo Pezzolano. The Uruguayan has seen his side win just 3 of his 9 matches in charge, sitting 11th in the Championship. But legendary club captain Troy Deeney told us he rates Gracia highly.
Great guy, great coach. Also very good with man management, understands people really well. Be interesting to see who he gets to bring in with him as coaching staff. If they got the same coaching staff, all complemented each other really, really well.
Meanwhile, Jermaine Defoe's told talkSPORT he'd be champing at the bit to join Steven Gerrard at Rangers. Gerrard's one of the names associated with the job at Ibrox, though there's currently no clear front-runner. Defoe's told us for whoever does come in, it won't be a straightforward job.
It's almost like earning the right to play. Before anything else, you have to run, you have to work hard, you have to graph. All the things that people nowadays, for some reason, don't speak about. You know, I keep saying it's a different beast up there. You know, I was always told, if you come second, you might as well come last.
Our latest understanding is that Sean Dyche is not interested. Speaking of managers, Wayne Rooney's admitted to talkSPORT he's in no rush to get back into the dugout.
I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm still learning in the punty world as well and trying to get better at that. And yeah, I'm happy and get to see my kids play more and not the pressure of managing. Listen, and if something, the right one comes up, which after what's happened in previous jobs, I very much doubt it. I'm not stupid, I can be honest on that. I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
Now, will Harry Maguire be part of the Manchester United revolution for years to come? Here's talkSPORT's Alex Crook.
His contract is up at the end of the season. It's my understanding that he's quite keen to extend his stay at United. He'll be 33 by the time that contract comes to an end. I think if he is to stay, he's going to have to be willing to take a pay cut.
And Arsenal are considering stadium renovations at the Emirates that could see them play home games at Wembley. According to the Telegraph, the Gunners are exploring using £500 million of funding to rework the interior of their Holloway Road home. That could see the capacity hit 70,000. The Emirates was opened 19 years ago at a cost of £390 million.
Yeah, good evening. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. I'm Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy alongside me. We're going to hear from Richard Ashcroft and Frank Lampard, who have been on the station today. We'll look ahead to England's game against Wales with Robert Earnshaw later on. We are still joined in the studio by football finance expert Kieran Maguire. He wants to answer all your questions, so if you want to have a chat about anything to do with finances in football, 03 717 22 3344. Look, Kid, there's loads to go at with you. I'm going to start because obviously I'm a Spurs fan, big Spurs fan. We see Daniel Levy leave. He's still got shares in the club, I can imagine. There was talk of a potential takeover. What does that look like, and if that was ever going to happen with Joe Lewis or the Lewis family?
I think if the numbers are right, then the Lewis family will be willing to listen. The fact that we've already had, in the past 3 or 4 months, 3 offers, one from Amanda Staveley, one from an American investor, one from a third investor. Spurs are very, very attractive. They've got the most future-proof stadium in the country. They've got the best training facilities in the country. They've got a deal now with the local council that they can have 30 non-football events at full capacity. That's
Wow.
NFL, that's boxing, that's Taylor Swift, that's Coldplay.
That's massive.
And yeah, because footballs are really dumb. You know, if I go along to my local electrical store, my local phone store, it's open 364 days a year. Football stadium is closed effectively 11 months. So if you can double that, it's really smart. The way that Spurs have set up the new stadium as well, in terms of making it very attractive for the corporates, for hospitality and so on. Spurs make more money per fan per match than any other club. It works out as £101 per fan per match. And in NFL, they're doubling the prices for booze, for pies and so on. So yeah, it's very, very attractive. They've also got the benefit that they don't have to go and pay win bonuses for winning trophies. So the wages bill tends to be a bit lower than many other clubs. So Spurs are therefore the most profitable club in the history of the Premier League. And on the back of that, investors
That's
like
not
the
winning
idea.
trophies as well. That helps, does it?
It does, yeah.
It's so funny, though.
Well, we don't win anything, but we're rich. I see like $4.5 billion. What's the situation with Daniel Levy? Because he's now out of the club, right?
Yeah.
But are they trying to get him out? Do they want to sell his shares? Is there a bit where you say, say Amanda Stavley, comes in? Can you buy his shares?
He owns 30% of ENIC, and ENIC own 80% of Spurs. So it would have to be, I think, the rest of the Lewis family who could perhaps persuade him to sell his shares back to them, or somebody else could come in and say, I'll take up your share. Thanks very much, Daniel. He's done spectacularly well for Spurs in transforming the stadium, in making it a business, making it as an investment.
Yeah.
And I know that frustrates Spurs fans. I'm on a Spurs podcast tomorrow night, and they'll be giving me some grief about it. But I look at it purely from the numbers point of view. I think what he has done, he's created a legacy that whoever does take over Spurs, assuming that it does go, then they don't have to spend money on the stadium. Yeah, so Jim Ratcliffe has got to go and spend a fortune at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend money on the training facilities. It's in London. American investors love London because they can fly in and fly out over the course of the weekend if they became the new owners. So there's huge positives. It's got a global fan base. We know that Spurs has got hot spots around the world. It's not, wouldn't say it's a global like Manchester United or Liverpool, but it's certainly a very attractive proposition. And you put that together.
Okay,
it looks really
so
good.
if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm listening to that thinking, right, okay, everything seems to be in place. How can that infrastructure, the financial infrastructure that's in place, how can that lead to being success on the pitch and winning trophies? What's the next step? How quickly can that happen under the fact that now we don't have Levy there, or they don't have Levy there?
Well, if you take a look at the amount of money they have been spending, the wages has been lower than some of the other clubs, but the transfer spend has actually been quite high. Now, I'm not qualified to say whether those transfers have been good or bad. That's a footballing decision, not a finance decision. But they can now compete in terms of wages. The fact that for sort of 3 years out of the last 5, their wage bill has been higher than that of Arsenal. It was creeping up towards that of Chelsea and so on. By putting that infrastructure into place, it means that if they get the footballing decisions right, what they don't have to worry about to the same extent was they lost Berbatov, they lost Michael Carrick. You think about sort of 15, 20 years ago, because other clubs could come in and outbid them, they can say, right, well, those are your best players, we'll offer them higher wages, and off the players went. Spurs are now in a position to be able to turn that down.
It all sounds great, doesn't it? I mean, it doesn't...
Well, I mean...
it sounds great,
how much was Daniel Levy holding them back, in your opinion?
I think he held them back because he wanted to micromanage everything. And if he just focused on the non-footballing side of Spurs and building up the go-karting and the tours of the ground and the mega store and so on, if he just kept to that, I think Spurs would probably be in a stronger position. I think the downside, Sir Alex Ferguson famously said negotiating with Daniel was more painful than his hip operation. I think that was the problem, that he couldn't let go. He wanted to do football and non-football and everything else in respect of Spurs, and that interference on the footballing side of things probably was a negative.
I've got to ask you about Newcastle, because we've seen them, become a super club in terms of being able to have the money that they want. They can't spend it. Just talk me through, someone who's a complete novice in that area, how they get to where they want to get to, and if that means the Premier League changing the rules of PSR, FFP, whatever it is that's going on, because Newcastle just can't compete, can they, at that level?
Newcastle can't compete because the way that the rules were set up, and I'm not saying this was intentional, I'm not saying this wasn't intentional, was that it could be argued that it was there to prevent another Abramovich coming along and disrupt. If I go back to 2003, It was Manchester United or Arsenal. Yeah, those are the two clubs that were competing for the Premier League title every year for a long period of time. Abramovich came along and he was able to allow Chelsea to spend what they want. And that meant that those two became three. Mansour came along and that three became four. And when you've got four clubs competing for the Premier League, and I think you have to give Spurs credit because they started to get into the Champions League places. Liverpool did that organically. They started to compete for Champions League places. And you've got 6 into 4. That doesn't work. Newcastle, Villa, Everton, perhaps under the new owners. You could perhaps put Forest there under Marinakis. He wants to spend money. The things that are stopping them are the rules. You're only allowed to lose £105 million. Manchester City lost £197 million in 1 year. Under the Premier League rules, you're only allowed to lose 105 over 3 years. So it means that it's very difficult for City, for Newcastle and for Villa and clubs like that to bridge that gap, because if you've got the regular clubs in the Champions League this year could be worth 200 million quid to the winner. Well, that's a gap which Newcastle would need to fill in, year out basis, and they'd have to qualify for the Champions League on a more regular basis. How they can be successful is getting into that Champions League spots. I think the Premier League will probably have 5 Premier League spots going forwards, which will help.
Can I ask you a question? What do the Premier League earn for each spot that qualifies for the Champions League?
You'll get a minimum of £40 million just for being there.
Okay, so that's per spot.
That's per spot.
And that goes to who? The Premier League?
That goes to the individual clubs.
So what do the Premier League as a body earn?
They get nothing.
So why are they bothered?
Because the Premier League don't make the rules. The clubs vote on the rules. So in order to change the rules, you need to have a 2/3 majority. So you need to have 14 clubs in the Premier League to say, we're going to change the financial rules.
Right.
The financial rules were introduced because there was a fear amongst some of the owners that the players were being paid too much.
Sorry, so who voted for what? What was the ratio?
When the rules were introduced, it was 20 in favour of it.
Right.
Because they didn't ever think that they were going to lose that amount of money on a regular basis. Since then, Villa have wanted to increase the losses. They tried it. That they were outvoted. Because if you're Bournemouth, if you're Wolves, if you're Palace, Brighton, why vote to lose more money? Because you're not going to be in the Champions League. No. So why do that? Because when we mean losses, we mean higher wages.
Right. Okay. So there is a cartel, and the cartel consists of how many? Is it eight teams that feel they can get there?
I think realistically, there's 8 clubs that want to get there. There's 6 that are effectively there on a regular basis,
yes.
And what they don't want is that 6 to be. 8 into 4 is more difficult than 6 into 4. So let's try to keep 2 or 3 of those other clubs out.
I've got Michael, who's a Newcastle fan. All right, Mike.
Hello, lads. All right.
Yeah, I'm good, Mike. You got a question for Kieran?
He's probably well. You've just been discussing the PSR rules, and I know you know how it works. Basically, your profits and your losses and whatnot. Obviously, he's alluded to the financial bang that Spurs have with the new stadium and what they can do, and it's not just that. Off the back of that, it's generations gone by where clubs have had notoriety and, the families grew up with it and so on and so forth, so the merchandise and it all follows. I just think that, like you said, as I say, like you alluded to, the likes of Forest, Everton, Aston Villa, there's a few clubs with deep pockets, and I just think it's really unfair. And even Mr. Jordan will say there's no competition. We can't compete. We're going to go around. It's going to take absolute generations. And the only way you get notoriety is with success. So you're actually on a hamster wheel, really, going round and round and round. Now, my question to Kieran was, from what I gather, that this is going to vote next month about the PSR. Does this vote actually mean it can either be sustained or it's abolished, or are there other alternatives to it?
I think there's going to be 2 votes. One of the votes is going to be for something called anchoring. Now, anchoring is really good news for Newcastle United because what it involves is that you take the television money that goes to the club that finishes bottom of the Premier League. It's about £110 million. You multiply that by 5, and it means that every club in the Premier League can spend no more than 5 times 110. So that means, in theory, Newcastle can spend £550 million on wages, as can Villa, as can Everton, and as can everybody else. If that was the only rule that was being introduced, happy days for Newcastle. Okay. Happy days for those aspirational clubs. But what they're going to do at the same time, they're going to have another set of rules. And under these sets of rules, what you do is that you take the total revenue generated by the club and you multiply that by 70%, and that's a separate wage limit that you've got. Now, the problem that Newcastle have got is that their commercial income is around about 50 million quid. Manchester City's is 350, because City have been successful over the last 10 years. They've got all of these global sponsors. So Newcastle, let's say that they bring in £400 million this season. They have a successful year in the Champions League. 400 times 70% is £280 million on wages. Manchester City have got 700 million. 700 times 70% is 490. That means that City and Liverpool and Manchester United have got a £200 million advantage over Newcastle. And as you were rightly saying, it is a legacy thing. It will take years. But how can you persuade the players to sit around under those circumstances? We saw Isak move this season. It's
how can you catch up with them clubs if you can't spend the money?
Well, people would say the rules are there to stop the likes of Newcastle being able to compete by having these rules, because they create an artificial hurdle. The owners can afford it, just like Abramovich could afford it. So why not let them just say, we'll put in that extra 200 million.
So one vote kind of gives, and the other vote takes. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
so here's what you could have had, and here's what we're taking.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, and that will never change, in your opinion, while the Premier League is about, and that clubs are going to vote. That's never going to change.
I don't see any desire for that to change. And the reason for that, again, you look at those clubs which are not in that group. Why would Crystal Palace vote to have a £500 million wage cap when their current wage is £140 million? It's not in their interest, because all of a sudden...
It's going to make them further away.
Yeah. So it's... And UEFA's rules are the same as this 70% limit. So even if Newcastle and the Premier League came to an agreement that they're just going to have this anchoring thing, they still have to abide by the UEFA rules. Now, it could be said that Chelsea broke the rules. They absolutely steamrolled their way through the rules, and they just paid a fine. And I think you could be saying, as far as Chelsea are concerned, fine's just a cost of doing business. They're not bothered by it. But their fear is, if they do it 2 times, if they do it 3 times, could UEFA kick them out of the Champions League?
Right.
We have to wait and see.
Okay. All right, keep your calls coming in. You want to have a chat with Kieran? 03717 22 33 listening to the Sports One Talk Sport. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We're going to look back at some of the weekend's EFL action in a bit, but we're still joined by Kieran Maguire. Want your calls on anything FFP related? 03 717 22 3344. Let's go to Mark. He's an Everton fan. All right, Mark.
Lucky Mark.
Good lads. I'd like to ask Kieran, what about the hundreds of millions of pounds that Manchester City have spent in legal fees? Why isn't that, in the profit and sustainability? Because surely it's to do with running the club, isn't it?
Well, they have incurred very substantial fees. That they've not broken those fees down in the accounts. Until that has been settled, we don't know whether that's allowable or not for PSR. But I was looking at the Premier League's accounts last week. Their legal costs have gone up from 6 million to 46 million.
Oh my God! What, in 1 year?
Yep.
Premier League.
Premier League, yeah. Oh, we're all in the wrong business, guys. We're all in the wrong business.
40 million in 1 year. It's gone up.
Yep.
And that's because everyone's going after the Premier League.
Well, you've got the Premier League they had the dispute, Mark, with your own club Everton, with Forest, with Leicester, and the Manchester City one is going to be the big one, and the repercussions for that we don't know, because there's just been a settlement between Everton and Leeds, where I think Everton have given a financial settlement because when there was a breach of the PSR rules a couple of seasons ago, Leeds finished below Everton, and you get £3 million per place. So Leeds said, well, hold on, if the points deduction, it's not a relegation issue, but if the points deduction had taken place last season, we'd have got an extra £3 million. So they agreed to settle that. If that then applies to Manchester City, you're going to have clubs going back for a period of 9 years. I think there's 29 potential clubs that could claim that, well, if Manchester City had been allowed to spend less money because of PSR in those seasons, we would have won the Premier League, we would have qualified for the Champions League, and it will open up a legal minefield that we've never seen like the likes of before.
Wow. So look, what is the situation with Manchester City right now? Has it all been settled? It's all gone away?
No. The Commission finished its hearing last December, so we are now 10, 11 months into settlement since then, and there are effectively, we talk about 115 charges. There's three things. First of all, there's an accusation by the Premier League that Manchester City received money from the owner and pretended it was sponsorship money. Money from the owner doesn't count for PSR, sponsorship money does. So it was allowing them to artificially inflate the money coming into the club. The second accusation, and I think this is not dissimilar to what we've seen in terms of the accusations at Chelsea, is that City were paying people off book. So the money was going to either players or players' agents, and it wasn't going through Manchester City's books. That kept Manchester City's costs artificially low, which allowed them to comply with PSR. And the third accusation is that Manchester City haven't cooperated with the Premier League. City turn around and say, well, why should we cooperate with you? Because we believe that all of your charges against us are on the back of somebody hacking our IT system. So under those circumstances, why should we assist you? So that's where we are. I think the mistake that the Premier League made, and I was talking to a sports lawyer last week, they said to me, if the Premier League had actually said, we're going to just go and pick the best 12 charges because we think these are the real big hitters, then it could have been sorted out some time ago. Because if you've got 115 charges, you've got 115 defences, which means that there's an awful lot of documentation to put together. And that's why it's dragging on and on and on. Right. And the legal costs are going up and up and up.
So, sorry, Jay. So we were told about this time last year that we thought there'd be an answer this new year just gone. And by the end of last season, there'd be some sort of resolution. We're now into this season. Is there any indication as to when we might have some sort of answers going forward about where this is going to lead and if the charges are going to stick? Is there a date? Because everyone in football, including City fans, want to know, what does this look like?
But there is no indication. There are three people on the commission who are forming the verdict. there is a complete lockdown. Even those who you thought might be in the know, I'm in a few WhatsApp groups, and like many other people, it's radio silence. What will happen is that 24 hours before there's a public announcement, Manchester City will be informed, the Premier League will be informed, I suspect the independent financial regulator will be informed of the verdict. That will allow them to work out what their press releases are going to be, whether they think that, they need to formulate their response to it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes out, it's going to be a big explosion.
Wow. I mean, so it could happen any day. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen 6 weeks' time, 6 months' time.
That's right. I mean, lots of people say, we've got the international break. It would be a great story during the international break, but the judges, they live in their little world, not in the football world.
Okay. Let's go to Gary. He's a Blackburn fan. All right, Gary?
All right. Well, it doesn't involve Blackburn, but Kieran, how come Newcastle couldn't spend 400 million in one transfer window? Say this summer they spent 400 million. They won. They'd have a far better chance of winning the Champions League, a far better chance of winning the Premier League. What was the deduction in points that Everton and Forest got?
Well, Everton...
5 points.
Yeah, Everton got a 6...
The same, didn't they?
So you're saying just take the You're saying just take the punishment, spend the money, take the punishment.
Well,
well, they've broke the same rule, haven't they? It doesn't matter how much you go over it. That's what the big thing is. So Newcastle just spent 400 million. Say they won the Champions League. They aren't going to get kicked out of the Champions League because they won it, haven't they? If they win the Premier League, they've made big money anyway. So why don't they just go and spend the money?
Well, first of all, if you do spend the money, there's no guarantees. If you look at the record of £100 million plus signings, you think about Barcelona, they spent 400 million on Coutinho, on Dembele and Griezmann, and all three of those flopped at those clubs.
Yeah.
So and then you're left with the worst of both worlds. You get the points deductions and you don't get the glory of winning the trophies. In terms of Everton and Forest, Everton got a 6 points deduction because they lost more money than Forest. There is, in fact, it does work out. It's for every couple of extra million, you get one more point. If you work that out, if they spent 400 million, it would be a big points deduction the following season, and you might say, well, it's worth it if you win the Champions League. But it would, you're professional footballers. If you've got guys coming in on 2 or 3 times the wages, and you're saying, well, hold on, I've been a good player for this club, that would cause potential disharmony in the dressing room, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the team would improve. You just get a series of better individuals.
Right. Okay. Gary, thanks for your call. I mean, it's been an amazing chat, Kieran. You've got a book coming out as well, right? You just tell us what that's about.
I've got a book. I've got a book called The Price of Football.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it's been out. I think I'm supposed to be writing the 3rd edition.
All right, then.
But I spend so much time doing telly and radio that I'm very slow. And I've also written a book with comedian Kevin Day, who's here on talkSPORT on a regular. Right? Yeah, it's a Brighton Palace fan. We don't get on particularly well, right, but okay. It's about how we take a football club from park football through to the Premier League and all of the aggravation that goes through. So. He's the romantic, and I'm the boring guy that says you can't do that now, Kevin.
Okay. Kieran, you're an absolute star, mate. I appreciate you coming in. Absolutely different class.
Thank you, Kieran. Loved it.
We're going to look at some of the weekend's EFL action with talkSPORT's Ian Dante. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Jason Cundy. Got back pages coming up. Going to hear from Verve frontman Richard Ashcroft as well, who's on drive today. But time to take a look back at the weekend's EFL action with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Joining us, talkSPORT's EFL commentator Ian Dancer. All right, Dance.
All right, Dance.
All right, boys, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Look, the Championship's rocking. It's fantastic watch. I'm going to start with top of the Championship, Coventry. They won 5-0 against Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. Coventry City gaffer Frank Lampard, he joined Drive earlier today, said he was delighted with the start of the season his team has made.
I feel fortunate I've walked into this group of lads because they're so keen. They want to train. They train hard. They're very together. All those things, all the basics that you can't have success without. And last year we moved on a lot. I think unlucky in the Sunderland games. I thought we played well in those, but that's the way it goes, and we just missed out. So we might have a bit between our teeth with the break and coming back and having another go at it. We've kept a lot of the same the players of the squad really, so we've got good continuity really in players that there was a bit of talk around over the summer. We've managed to keep hold of good players and bring a few others in, and yeah, we're playing well at the minute.
Yeah, that's Frank Lampard speaking, Dance. They are absolutely flying. Are they the real deal?
Yeah. I mean, I think the three of us have talked about Coventry over the past year or so about how things were building under Frank Lampard. And I think between the three of us, we were all fairly confident that they were going to make it to the playoffs last season. So they did. And as you just heard there from Frank, Sunderland got the better of them just at the end of it all. But some really smart acquisitions that he's brought in. I think particularly in midfield, Matt Grimes last January, getting him in from Swansea was really smart. Jack Redoni looks like he's benefiting greatly from having Lampard showing him how to be a box-to-box midfielder. And actually, Redoni's not been around the last couple of games, Jay, and they're still thumping the goals in. They're topping so many of the good metrics.
27 goals.
Yeah, and top of clean sheets as well. And goals conceded. They're scoring 3 goals a game. They're getting the most touches in the opposition penalty area, accurate passes. They're topping that metric as well. Everything's coming at roses. And when you think about the fact that the fans are so happy now, they now own that stadium, which they never did until recently. You've got more season ticket holders there than they've ever had before. It just couldn't be more positive.
Yeah, the goal difference of plus 20, the closest to them, is plus 6 in second position in Middlesbrough, and they haven't lost a game this season either in the league. Things are looking rosy. What are the areas that Frank, if he had to do anything now, should he be worried about? Because he's only, as well as they've done, 1 point ahead of Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Only 9 games in, of course. Leicester are hot on the tails, and then you back up to 6th position with 15 points with just 4 below. The Championship is so tight, but you often get one team, and not always, Dance, but one team that leads the way. Is it going to be Coventry City and maybe Middlesbrough tucked in behind? Are they the 2 outstanding ones at the moment that you can see? Anyone else there in the chasing pack?
Well, you're asking me there if there's any weakness I can see in Coventry. It's getting harder and harder to find one.
Well,
because there's goals coming from all around the team, Jace. That you've got Brandon Thomas-Asante, who's now got 5 goals. Hadji Wright's got 8. Ellis Sims was the one player I was a little bit concerned about, having come in from Everton, but he scored at the weekend at Sheffield Wednesday. Sakamoto and Mason Clark out wide are providing. There's so much good to talk about that Coventry squad. In terms of those, Jace, who could sort of get close to them, I think Leicester are starting to show that they've got a bit of oomph about them again. Right. Fatawu with a fantastic goal. Jordan James with a fantastic goal in their 3-1 win at Swansea. And they're starting to look like they're getting their mojo back, Jace, after last season's disappointment.
I've got to ask you about Ipswich, because they played a massive game at the weekend against Norwich. They won 3-1, and I've got here in front of me the first win in over 16 years. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
I mean,
the Old Farm derby just never went their way. I remember doing one for talkSPORT at Carrow Road, where Ipswich managed to get an equaliser, and Mick McCarthy was practically doing a Barry Fry running down the touchline. He was that delighted that Ipswich had managed to get a point out of Norwich. But yeah, Jaden Philogene with another wonderful hit. He scored a hat-trick not long ago against Sheffield United, scored a wonderful goal as Ipswich got the 3 points. They not quite up there with Leicester in terms of getting their mojo back, but they seem to be turning a corner a little bit under Kieran McKenna after the disappointment of relegation. So keep your eye on Ipswich Town.
Yeah, 5 games unbeaten.
I saw that game, and the Philogene goal was a wow factor, and they thoroughly deserved to win it, by the way. Let's talk about Wrexham and Birmingham. Drew 1-1 on Friday. Two of the sides that came up from the League One. I mean, is it just survival in this division, Dance, or is there perhaps a little bit more? It feels like it's just survival at the moment.
I think if you ask the owners of both those clubs, survival is not the what they're looking for. They're looking for more than that. I think
realistically, with Wrexham, do you know, realistic though, with Wrexham, the meteoric rise. What I know they might be disappointed, but what would
Luton have done it? Bournemouth have done it.
Yeah, but where Wrexham have come from?
I think the difference is with Wrexham, you've seen this unprecedented rise through the division, successive promotions again and again and again, which very rarely happens. You know, sometimes you get those teams that go from League One through to the Premier League in successive years, like Ipswich did a couple of years back. But going from National League to League Two to League One to Championship, as Wrexham have done, is really incredibly tough. So I think, Jace, they were always going to reach a bit of a glass ceiling at some point. But that squad is jam-packed full of experience and quality. You think of Kiefer Moore coming in, Lewis O'Brien, who was excellent at Huddersfield and didn't quite make the grade at Nottingham Forest, Josh Windass in there. They've got really good players in there that should keep them competitive. Maybe top half for Wrexham.
So what you're saying, you're saying that Phil Parkinson at the moment is underachieving? I know that's...
no, I would certainly...
I know that seems hard. I should phrase that question.
I don't know where you got that impression from, Jay.
I should phrase that differently. Okay, Phil Parkinson, will he be satisfied right here, right now?
Do you know, I don't... I mean, the problem we've got here is that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney as owners, all they've known is Phil Parkinson. So all we've known is them managing Phil Parkinson as owners. So how trigger happy are they? They don't appear to be at the moment because they're happy to keep hold of him. And Phil will have a personal desire, Jace, to prove himself at this level, because the one thing that's always been levelled at Phil is that when it comes to going further up the leagues, he hasn't delivered. So he'll have his own personal motivation to get it right for Wrexham. And make them competitive and get them top half and maybe challenging for the playoffs. And as for Birmingham, it's about par, I would say, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm close to it all. I'm a Birmingham fan. 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. And a couple of those points that the club have earned have come last gasp, like against Sheffield Wednesday a week ago. So, Chris Davis has got to find the balance and blend. I don't know whether he knows his best 11 just yet, because there's a lot of players that have come in, and I think there's still a lot of jostling for position.
Dan, it's got to talk to you about the Sheffield clubs. They're having an absolute stinker at the bottom of the table. We know Sheffield Wednesday are in disarray with financial problems, but Sheffield United, they've brought back Chris Wilder and they still can't win.
Yeah, they got one win at his old place, Oxford United, but it's... There's certainly a lot of work for Chris to do at Bramall Lane to get things turned up. The players are there, Jay. You look at a player like Gus Harmer, Callum O'Hare, they've got really talented midfield players. Tyrese Campbell's a good, strong boy up front. They've got, I think, one of the best keepers in the division in Michael Cooper, although some of his form early in the season would suggest otherwise. I'm nowhere near as concerned about Sheffield United as I'm about Sheffield Wednesday right now. In some respects, for fairly obvious reasons, because of the financial plight and the way that Sheffield Wednesday's been running the fans' protests. But with United, I think Chris Wilder, after a few weeks, he'll start to sort the wheat from the chaff and pull them away from trouble. Not saying they're necessarily going to get involved in the playoffs again this year, but I wouldn't be quite so concerned. I saw enough in the game against Charlton I did for talkSPORT 2 the other week, Jay, that Sheffield United have got what it takes to get away from the position they're in right now.
Yeah, I just look at that and think what's the difference from when he left, which wasn't that long ago, by the way.
No.
Right? So in terms of the squad and what he's working with, how much has actually changed? Because there might have been some damage done, but come on, the footballers need to get on with it now. You got your old manager back. He got you in the playoffs. We're inches, away from getting promoted automatically. How much has the squad changed, in your opinion? You say work? What isn't working that was working before?
Just that sort of porous nature at the back where they're conceding goals. Right. I mean, Jack Robinson's left the club, who was a bit of a stalwart. Kiefer Moore was there. He's gone. They've missed this kid. I don't know whether you know the name, Jace, but Ollie Arblaster, who came through the youth ranks. Yeah. He picked up an ACL and he's been out, and he was due to come back a few weeks ago, but he's had a setback in his recovery. Right. And I think they've really missed his drive and box to box midfield work. Right. That's a problem for them to solve. Vinny D'Souza, who was in the Premier League, he's gone, so that's a big part of the engine room that's not there from what you'll remember from last season. There's talent in that squad, Jay, but I think just the way Ruben Sellés just didn't motivate the players, and they couldn't get on board with what he's doing. And that's what Chris Wilder's having to suffer with, trying to, get the morale back up.
Who's winning the league for you, Dance?
Coventry. It's hard to see past them, really, so far.
Second place?
Well, I mentioned Leicester earlier, who, under Cifuentes are picking up. That was a very good win at Swansea. Middlesbrough have pleasantly surprised me under Rob Edwards, I have to say, although they lost their unbeaten record at Euro Club, Jay, at Portsmouth on Saturday. So just keep your eye on Middlesbrough. And just for a dark horse, QPR, who got absolutely walloped by Coventry early in the season. I think they've now gone 8 unbeaten under Julian Stefan, their new coach. They got a good win on Saturday. So maybe it's a little dark horse to get involved for automatics, QPR, if they can keep it going. I'm not sure whether the squad's quite big enough, but certainly Coventry, Leicester and Middlesbrough, who are at the top of the moment.
Right. Dance, your star, mate. Thank you.
Dance. Top man.
Cheers, guys.
Right, that was Ian Dancer there. That was a look at the latest action. Thanks to TalkSport Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Begun with dog.
Bring it on with TalkSport Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Right, we've got back pages coming up next. You're listening to the Sports Bar and Talk Sport. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We're here from Richard Ashcroft. He was on Drive earlier, but it's time for Back Pages. JC's joined us in the
Back in
studio.
the house.
All right, matey, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, good, mate. I'm all good. Look, I'm going to get straight into it because we've been running over all night, to be fair, because we're loads to talk about. But Back Page of the Times, Henderson, I'm no cheerleader.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson called off the England squad again, been speaking about that and also a time at Brentford, also been speaking about Liverpool as well. But specifically on England, he was saying that he doesn't think that Thomas Tuchel would ever pick him if he thought he was just going as a cheerleader, and he feels that he's still got an important part to play in the squad. And obviously Tuchel has said numerous times, especially in fact that interview with talkSPORT in the summer, how he thinks that Henderson's really an important part of his team. My view on it is that I think there's other midfield players who are better than him. I think I'm looking at Adam Wharton, for example. I'm like, why is he not in the team?
I hear you.
I feel like Henderson was brilliant, and he has actually had a decent start at Brentford, like decent start, at 35, still doing well, but equally, I don't know, I'd take him, but I'd take him, can we take him as a coach or something? I don't know, because I
I'll
feel
take
like...
him as a coach, he's still playing.
I know, but...
But why do we
I
think?
get
why do we think he's in there?
He's a cheerleader.
He's not a cheerleader. He's,
yeah,
but he's in
a
there.
cheerleader. What the reason Jordan Henderson gets picked is because
of experience, right?
Experience.
Yeah, but that's not cheerleader.
Vocal communication.
Yeah,
he sets the precedent probably in training. Discipline,
standards, all that
the
stuff.
standards,
Yeah.
all that.
Well, Wharton can't do that.
No.
And I'm trying to just give a little bit of balance.
No, I
Wharton,
get it.
For as good as he is,
I know.
So if we're as football fans, we look at it one way.
Yeah.
You got Thomas Tuchel going Henderson.
I think it's a sorry state of affairs though that we are picking Jordan Henderson, and I don't know. He's a brilliant player, but it's a sorry state of affairs that you're having to pick someone just because he's a good talker.
Yeah, you would want.
What state are we in as
But let me throw and play devil's advocate here, right?
Because he can talk well.
No. But going to America, right? He's been on tour. He knows how to travel with England. He's done many tournaments. He's won many. I just wonder whether Tuchel's looking, going, maybe this squad needs someone like that.
I'm not saying that they don't. I think they do need him.
Mm-hmm. That's the point. That's the point. You've got to try and put yourself in Tuchel's shoes.
Well, you just talk
right?
someone else.
I'm not
step
saying
up and do it.
I'm not saying that I'd have Henderson in my squad because I wouldn't. But trying to put yourself in Tuchel's, he's got one job, right? It's to win the World Cup.
That is his job.
Because once his contract's up, he's probably going, right? Yeah. So he doesn't care about Wharton in 2026 qualify for the next Euros. That's not on his agenda. I'm just trying to put... so we can all have this opinion about why he's there. And he's saying it's no cheerleader's harsh. No, that's harsh. That's harsh, mate. It is. He's a Premier League footballer.
He is a Premier League footballer.
Well, he's not. Well, yeah.
But equally, they're better off.
He's not top England international anymore.
Not anymore.
No, but he carries clout elsewhere. You can't...
Yeah, no, I hear...
all I'm just trying to do is play devil's advocate.
No, I know, and I totally get the argument. And the thing is I think Tuchel's right.
Yeah.
Putting him in there because of what he brings. As Cundy said, we're on tour as a camp. He's not going to have loads of minutes, but you need people like that. What that alarm bell rings to me is
what about the rest of the squad?
Well, what about where the players that are coming through and
who are they? Who are those?
Wharton, Anderson.
But they don't. That's the thing. He's got an 18-month. Well, had an 18-month contract.
Yeah.
He's now got less than a year left.
John Stones will be a leader.
Yeah, there are, but there's no
Rice, Harry Kane.
Yeah, but there's no John Terry's, Rio Ferdinand's, Wayne Rooney's, Frank Lampard, Stephen.
I don't know how many of them is in football.
There ain't, and that's the problem. This squad might have it.
That's why Jordan's in there.
Yep.
Well, anyway, Gunners could be on the way to Wembley.
Yeah, so Arsenal looking to expand the Emirates. There's sort of quite early discussions at the moment, but potentially looking at making it 70,000. If that were to happen, then obviously they wouldn't be able to play there for a period of time. So they would do what Spurs did when they went and played at Wembley. So I was Spurs there for a season and a bit, full season, and then it was a bit of another season as well. I think they moved in halfway through.
Chelsea still beat them.
Yeah. Well, obviously
still rocked up there.
We done all right there.
Yeah, Wembley.
Did not get Chelsea, mate.
No. I do think Wembley though is because I find it getting in and out of it is an absolute nightmare. And I remember speaking to Spurs fans who I knew, and they were absolutely sick of it by the end because of that journey.
It ain't much better getting out of Tottenham. I mean, getting out of Tottenham is an absolute nightmare as well.
Yeah, it's just Wembley's for some reason. It is. And I feel like with Arsenal, if you did move there again, for however long it would be, you would get all those problems again. And it's one of the, but there's nowhere else for them to go, is there? Really, what if they're going to expand the stadium?
Share with
where else
Spurs?
do you go?
How do they even make that stadium bigger?
Yeah,
because it's one of them new.
It's one of the new
modern
ones where
stadiums with the roof all the way round.
Yeah,
They must have built it with the ability to add bits.
Add bits.
Doing bits around the sides. They must.
Oh, you guys got this again.
How do you take a roof off of a whole roof?
They just raise
It's
it.
one big roof. Yeah, no, but it's one massive roof.
They'll be better to it, mate.
You reckon?
That feels like it could take a while.
It'll never be Tottenham though. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? We just smashed them to bits with our stadium.
With the stadium is pretty good.
Yeah, at least you win something up in North London.
Back page of the Sun. Stones in dig at City bus route.
Yeah, this is actually, it was actually a TalkSPORT interview, this, and he was talking about with that game, that Manchester City game against Arsenal, where they took the lead, Haaland scored, and then essentially sat back. And it was a really interesting interview because Stones basically said that was not planned at any point at all. The plan was for City to go there and be their normal selves or whatever, but because of maybe how Arsenal came on in the second half, that was sort of just how they ended up playing, and they got the draw. He was saying, though, he never wants to do it ever again. He doesn't think it's part of City's DNA. He's been there for 10 years. I can't think of many games where Manchester City have played like that. No. It was almost a case of needs must. And I think, in a way, he is sort of praising Arsenal because he's saying that certainly in this, because the first half they didn't have Ezra on, it was a bit of a waste of time. But in the second half, they were all over them. And I think that's probably him talking about, I guess, how good Arsenal are as a team, really. Yeah.
The least amount of possession Pep's ever had in any game.
I think that's what it was, yeah. And by the end, he didn't have any attacking players on the pitch either. He took them all off.
He played for the draw in the end.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Just was like, you know what, I'm just trying to see this out. And they scored. It's a killer.
Because they pushed up for one for some reason at the end of the game. Like, they sat back in the whole time and then
got done over the top.
Yeah, and then
How can you get done over the top when you played that way?
Yeah, exactly.
Just on the TalkSPORT website, what's that?
Yeah, so Rangers' leading contender is Gerrard. TalkSPORT understands that Gerrard is the leading contender. Also, Kevin Thilwell, the sporting director, spoke to Sean Dyche. So at the moment, it's between looking like Gerrard and Sean Dyche. Gerrard isn't. He turned them down in the summer before they got Russell Martin. So Gerrard still needs to be, I guess, convinced about it. Dyche is more obviously be absolutely desperate to take that job. The Rangers fans want Gerrard over Dyche, I think, because he's been there, done it. I feel like Dyche in a club like that, we know what he can do defensively and stuff.
I think Sean Dyche did